So we know that we have to write a function that finds out the length of a given string. So the signature for this function is going to be of an integer type, so int, and now we specify the function name, so strLength, let's say it, or strlen, okay? And the function is going to receive a string, and if we want the function to receive a string, what we need to pass it is the first element address. That's how you pass a string to a string or an array to a function. And if you pass an address, then we know that this address should be something related to pointers. You do remember that, right? And in this case, the pointer is going to be of a char type. So we will have char, star, and let's say str. So now in this variable, we will have the address of the first element where of the first element in a given string. So we will point to there, and the element is going to be of a character type because we know that a string is just an array of characters with just a special character at the end. And now we are going to specify the function's body. So we will just go with something like that. So int I equals to 0. This will help us with the loops. And we are going to use counter equals to 0, which will be used to calculate the length of the string. We can do something like that. Maybe instead of counter, let's use length. Okay, and now what we have to do is to find the length. So while str in the i's index does not equal to the end of the string, so as long as this condition happens to be true, we are going to increment I by 1, okay, and then also increment length by 1. So we are going to run over all of the elements of the string until we reach the end of it, and once we do reach the end of it, we are going to return the length. Is that clear, guys? Do you understand what we are doing here? We simply got the address of the first element, and we know that in this address we have the string which has the last element equals to this particular character. We are iterating over all of the elements, calculating how many times we've done this while loop, and returning the length, which specifies the length of this string. So actually, if we take a look also at this solution, we can see that the length here may be unnecessary. We can remove it and just return I, okay, because I at the end of this while loop return I or I minus 1, yeah, return I, it will be the same. Good, now once the function to find the length of a string is ready, we can test it out by writing out our main program. So let's first of all define some size. Let's use define size 10. And now in the main we will specify here a variable and call it string length, and it's still not defined, right? We are going to call this function to assign the value that is returned from here, and we are going to create a string, so char, let's make it test str with this given size of 10, and now we are going to read the string from the user, so get string test str, and now what we are going to do is we are going to use string length equals to and call this function strlen that knows how to find out the length of this string, and just pass it the test str, which holds, this test str holds, it's the name of the string, it's the name of this array, and it holds, actually what it holds the value. This represents the address, actually the address, test str represents the address of the first element. So when we pass it this way, we know that this str will hold the address of the first element in this test str. And now, just to make sure that everything returned correctly, we are going to print the result. So use printf the length of the string let's say of string percentage s. Okay, let's put it in this guy, and the length is percentage d, right, because the length is of type integer. And here we are going to specify test str and the string length, semicolon at the end. Now let's try to build and run it and see what happens. So now what we want to specify here is the string. We are at line 21, and the console awaits for us to specify a string. So let's say hello, press enter, and the length of the string hello is 5, which is correct. So it seems to be working, and for now you can check out some additional examples to play a little bit with it. And there you go. It's good job, guys. Good job, good practice. So in this video you've written a very cool and useful function that's probably going to be used a lot with the strings. Now in the next videos we are going to see if maybe someone has already written some similar functions as well as some other useful functions for working with strings in C that we can simply later on just include into our program and use them for our needs.